Hey guys, welcome to Fan First Sports. I hope you guys are having a great day. My name is Nick, and today we're going to talk about the Portland Trailblazers head coaching vacancy. Now, this should be really exciting for fans. It's a fresh start, and Portland, the past 9 years, has been the Terry Stotts era with Damian Lillard. And to be honest, I thought there was some big successes in there. 8 straight playoff appearances. They made it to the Western Conference Finals one year. But the general consensus, I feel, has been disappointment. And especially after losing to the banged up Denver Nuggets without their second, possibly third best player, it had happened. Terry Stotts, a lot of people felt should have been gone sooner. And now it's time for a fresh start. And this next coach is really going to the trajectory is going to be for the better or the worse. It's a pivotal moment. You have Damian Lillard, a superstar in his prime. And for Portland, they're a small market team that has always overexceeded expectations. And now for fans, it's, they're kind of sitting there like, hey, we want a championship. And so this next coach is going to really be super pivotal in what they do in this offseason, because you have a small window here before it might be for the rebuild. And so that is why whoever this next coach is going to be so important. And there's a couple candidates out there I want to talk about, and my main guy. But first, I think it's really important to just kind of talk about where Portland's at and some of the things I think Terry just didn't do well. And then we'll get into who I think it should be. So I just want to touch on the Blazers and where they're at. So they just came off that disappointing series loss to Denver, the banged up Denver Nuggets, 4-2, and then a couple of days after said, Terry, we're going to let you go. And I don't think anybody saw that as a surprise. Terry Stotts, I actually liked. I thought he was a good coach, a great guy, a great face for the organization, but he definitely came with some deficiencies. And not to get too far into them, but I thought his player development was never a strong suit for him. Players like Harry Giles and Nasir Little, just to mention for this year, where were they? And you can look at players in the past too. There hasn't been development. Another thing that he's been consistently criticized on was in-game adjustments and overall just his coaching. Think about Portland. Like, what plays do they actually run? They have a pick and roll. They hand off the ball at the top of the key a couple times, and then have a couple ISO plays, and that's it. And a lot of times it looks like, what are they actually doing out there? And so for Terry, I don't think he ever made those type of things that could get them over the hurdle and into elite basketball talk. This next coach that takes over has to have passion and fire, has to be able to look at where they're weak at and not get it great, not make it a strength, but get it to a above average level. How many times in the past did we hear from Portland, the players or the coach, hey, we need to get better at defense. We know that, and we're going to work on it, and we're going to show that we can do it. They'll have a spurt of it, and then back to below average defensive basketball. It's been that for years with Portland, and that's what the next coach is going to have to really dig into, is like actually coaching, getting the team better. I think there's a ton of pressure on Neil Lachey to make the right choice here and make Lillard happy. Lillard has shown loyalty, that he wants to bring a championship here, and now is the time for win now mode. You got to make all the moves to give them the best opportunity, and it starts with finding a coach that can put his players in the best position. And I really think that guy I'm rooting for can do that. I think there's a lot of things that he's shown in a short amount of time that he can do it now for win now, and maybe post Lillard years. I'm really, really strong on this guy, and Portland needs to make the right decisions to put themselves in a good position to start making a run for that championship, become an elite basketball team. And so let's just touch on some of the candidates and who I think is the guy for the job that Neil Lachey needs to make an aggressive push. So for the Portland Trailblazers, just some of the coaching candidates, okay?
First of all, Damian Lillard, he showed his interest. He said his guy, Jason Kidd. Quickly, Kidd came back and was like, hey, it's not for me. So he's out. Then Dame also expressed interest into Chauncey Billups, who currently is on the Clippers coaching staff. Now, that kind of seems like he's the favorite. I wouldn't mind that. I actually like Chauncey a lot, and I think he would bring some cool things to Portland, and I would like to see the dynamic between him and Dame and how that works. But the guy I'm really rooting for, and it might be hard to get him, that person's Juwan Howard. Now, for people that don't know him, just a brief history. He was a part of the Fab Five with Michigan, a top 5 pick, played 19 seasons in the NBA, and won 2 championships at the end of his career with the Big Three in Miami. So not a huge role there, but then he went on to be a part of the Heat's coaching staff for 6 years before he got his big coaching job with Michigan, becoming the head coach there, taking over for John Beilein, who was a legendary coach, and he was taking over a program that was not bad by any means. It was a well-oiled machine, winning culture, but what Juwan did, I felt like he really made it special. He's respected among so many peers. He's a class act type of person. He has passion, has fire, and he was a huge part in building that Heat culture. Now, when you say Heat culture, people know what that looks like. The defense, the intensity, the hard work and work ethic, and hey, they made it to NBA Finals, right? And so, Juwan Howard, I feel like he brings a lot, and he's had a lot of experience now, not as a head coach, but what he's done in Michigan already. His first season, he took over. They went 19-12, but then there was no tournament because of COVID. The second season, they went into the preseason, projected to be 6th in the Big Ten. Now, Big Ten is like the best basketball conference, but what he did is they ended up finishing 23-5, best in the Big Ten. He won Big Ten Coach of the Year, AP National Coach of the Year, and went to the Elite 8, and they were a number 1 seed. And so, just that quick, like he showed that he can get the job done. And there was nothing but high praise for him. And just overall, like what he was able to do with that culture was huge. And I love, just go watch, his fire. He almost got into a fight on the court with another coach, just so passionate. And I think that's what's needed in Portland, is someone that's going to bring the fire in coaching drills. He's out there. He's doing the things with the guys. He's in there. And he's all about team first. He has a philosophy of 4 feet in, feet and hands in, like you're all in. It's not, and just that kind of mentality of bringing that culture and elevating Portland's culture that Dame has kind of made there, I think is going to be huge. The number one thing he said, Juwan Howard said that he learned from Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley, who are legends, was how to build a culture. And when he went to Michigan, man, I mean, he did that. He elevated it. And, just talking about some of the things I thought that Portland needed to do, as far as like looking at where they're kind of weakened and making it better, Howard had a great example of that. His first season, they were ranked 28th in adjusted defense. The offseason, he said, that's our commitment. That's the first thing we're working on, is our defense. They ended up the next season finishing number 4th and 4th in defense. So he shows that he can make those adjustments. And I just think when I think of who the next Portland coach is, I can see him. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because he doesn't have a lot of experience. Portland is in win now mode. So does Juwan Howard fit in there? But he's shown quickly that he is becoming an elite coach, up and comer in the coaching industry, and people have nothing but great things to say about him. Now, the other thing too with Juwan, and it might be hard to get him, is he did sign a 5-year contract with Michigan. That's his alma mater. He loves that position he's in. he cried during his introduction to Michigan as the head coach, and it might be hard to get him in that sense, but I feel like this is such an intriguing guy to go for because I see so much upside with Juwan Howard, and I think a lot of those things that were missing with Terry in those past Blazer years is something Juwan can totally take to another level with the player development, the in-game coaching, making sure every player is committed and ready to go, playing team basketball. He's just a great coach if you see what they've done. And so that is who I am rooting for. I hope Neil Shea can make the push for him. I'm curious to see, what do you guys think? Is there roster changes that you would love to see in the offseason, or what head coach? Is it Chauncey? Is that going to be the guy moving forward? And so I'm excited. I want to see the push for Juwan Howard, bring Juwan to Portland, and just thanks for watching Fan First Sports. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.